Thanks for joining us for AMH2 Early. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm meteorologist Julie Martin. You know, another round of storms taking shape for today. Severe weather outbreak appears to be imminent from Florida to the Ohio Valley.
It's just another day in a week that has seen plenty of scary weather scenes like this. Expecting scenes like this, unfortunately. We are expecting tornadoes in the south today. It's ongoing. We've got storms beginning your morning, and this has mainly been a hail threat this morning with these thunderstorms that have popped right here across the south, mainly into Alabama and Georgia. So these storms have been racing northward right through the overnight hours, bringing up the moist air, the warm moist air. The dew points are going to be surging farther north as we get sort of these storms. They're sort of the leading edge of that new warm and very humid air mass. All right, so right now thunderstorms out there approaching Columbus, Georgia. They're actually overhead right now. They came through Phoenix City, dropping hail. We get you into Columbus. These storms right here, right overhead, Crawford, Ladonia, Phoenix City. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning till 4:15. Now right over here into downtown Columbus, hail the size of ping pong balls or even tennis balls is possible. 2.5 inches plus possible as this storm cell moves right in over the city. So that will cause some damage, especially if your vehicle was left outside last night. Then we go over to Montgomery. A new severe thunderstorm warning just issued here. This includes Prattville. This particular cell again has the chance for some larger hail. We could see damaging hail coming out of this, and it looks like this one is going to skirt just to the north and west of downtown Montgomery, but still expecting some possibly damaging hail out of this one. And then we go up here south of Tuscaloosa. This one, again, everything's moving to the north and east right now, so this should scoot just off to your south and east Tuscaloosa. And you can see how that new warning was just issued. Hale and Perry, you were under the severe thunderstorm warning. Now it's up to Bibb and Tuscaloosa County, including Abernat, Duncanville, and Lakeview until 5 a.m. local time. History of hail with this as well. Barber County, you had hail up to the size of tennis balls this morning already. So very active start to your day as we look at the current radar right now. A couple of warnings again that we've lined up for you. But you notice that, we're seeing supercells potentially that will develop in the wake of these. So the atmosphere doesn't really get stabilized today. It's just ongoing. Even if you have thunderstorms, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have additional thunderstorms later on today. You will. We are expecting several different sort of modes of severe weather, hail, damaging winds, and there also is a tornado threat for today, a 7 out of 10 in Montgomery in Alabama and a 5 out of 10 in Columbia, South Carolina. So we want to talk through what's happening for today and try to time things out for you. Now I want to say this just about our modeling that we use, and pretty much all the models are in the same boat. The short-term models, they're having a hard time figuring out what's happening right now. So until that information gets into them, I think the timing of what they have is going to be certainly a little suspect. At any rate, I think what they do with putting out supercell thunderstorms throughout the day, the entire day actually, throughout the entire southeast, is very telling of the kind of day we're going to have. We're going to have a very busy day with thunderstorms, and they're likely to be of the supercell variety with the threat for large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat as well. Birmingham, Alabama, let's time things out. Storms here this morning. And then we'll get additional storms, especially strong into the afternoon. That might be sort of the peak of your event. Once the cold front comes through, we'll give you the all clear, and that will come after you go to bed this evening.
So taking you out to the Torcons here, we've got a 5 for you in Nashville, a 6 in Lexington, Kentucky, and even in Indianapolis, about a 40% chance of a tornado within a 50-mile radius. So that threat continuing here into the Ohio Valley. Right now this morning, we have seen some pretty steady rains coming through St. Louis. No severe weather associated with this, but as we take a closer look, what a messy commute it is going to be this morning right along I-44. And we'll see more storms, by the way, as Jen was mentioning. Just because you see the storms this morning, there are still more to come with this system as well. That cold front has to push through the area. So as we take a look here at future radar, we will see some more storms developing as we get into the afternoon and certainly the evening hours, stretching all the way down into North Carolina. This is a look at Raleigh at 7 o'clock this evening. Some pockets of heavy thunderstorms coming through your area as well. Finally reaching the Virginia coast by the time we get into about midnight, and then still seeing some more storms firing up as we head back into West Virginia. So as that cold front continues to push over to the coast, we're going to look at the potential for more severe weather tomorrow as well. This is a look at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see some spotty storms stretching through PA. Big cities like Philadelphia all the way down into Washington, D.C., portions of Virginia. You could even see some severe weather tomorrow as well. So we're going to take a look at the red zone here for you, and that's going to stretch from Philly all the way down into Wilmington. All right, let's go coast to coast now. Check this morning's weather headline. Look ahead to the weekend, right? The weekend will be much better for most of us across the country. We've got to get through a couple of rough days, though, in terms of that severe weather. Here's our threat for today, then extending basically from the Gulf Coast all the way up through the Ohio Valley, where we could see the threat of those severe storms. And then tomorrow, we'll see that threat shift farther eastward. Now, the mid-Atlantic states getting in on some of the severe weather action from places like Philadelphia into Virginia. Some Torcons here showing up for tomorrow in Raleigh. You've got about a 3 on the Torcon. Richmond, Virginia, a 3, as well as Washington, D.C. So that severe weather threat not quite out of here yet, but by the time we do get to Friday, things are looking much better. In fact, no red on the map, so that's some good news. We do have another storm system making its way into the north and northwest here, but by Saturday, most of the U.S. looking relatively quiet. In fact, temperatures will be warming up in places like Chicago and New York back in the 50s and 60s. Quiet weather continuing on the eastern half of the U.S. for your Sunday as well, but we will see another storm system start to push into the upper plains, and perhaps more severe weather coming by the time we get late Sunday into Monday, Jen.
All right, coming up, treacherous travel awaits millions today. Your Travel HQ has a trek on the roads and the airports. Plus, staying with us on AMHQ early today, bracing for a severe weather outbreak that could impact nearly 70 million people. That includes a high threat of tornadoes in the south. So let's get right to it. I want to show you in particular some of the higher risk areas, including in Georgia. Atlanta, you are right in the middle of it with a 7 on the Torcon. That's a 70% chance of storms forming that could rotate and produce tornadoes. So timing it out for you today, unfortunately, it's pretty much all day long. Now, at the start of the event, there's a bigger chance that storms would bring hail or some gusty wind. And that's this morning between about 7 and 10 a.m. But beyond that, honestly, all storms have the chance to rotate. And you see how we've got the peak of the event going between about 10 o'clock this morning and 8 o'clock tonight. It's pretty much all day. And then the cold front comes through, a few more storms, and then finally we can give you the all clear. Let's take a look at some of the other areas that we're watching as well. So this began overnight, actually, with thunderstorms coming up from the south. They're the leading edge of the warm and more humid air that's going to help feed into this whole event. So as this surges up here through parts of the south and east, we're going to see thunderstorms start today. That's how we're starting things out in Montgomery and in Columbus, Georgia, and Eufaula and Phoenix City, all places that have been dealing with thunderstorms and hail already this morning. So right now you can see we've got a number of thunderstorms out here. This one in particular now coming up on the south side of Birmingham could have some hail in it. The Columbus, Georgia area, your warnings have been allowed to expire. Keeping an eye on this little cell right there on 185. Might have some small hail, but doesn't look like it's enough or big enough to meet that damaging criteria. Montgomery, thankfully, your warnings have been allowed to expire as well, but all these storms north of town putting down some heavy rain as well as maybe some small pea-sized hail. It's not out of the question. Again, not at severe limits. And then we watch this cell. This one does have a severe thunderstorm warning for Brent and Centerville until 5 a.m. local time. Could be some larger hail within this one. These storms are just racing off to the northeast, 50, 55 miles an hour. Very fast storm motion for today, and they're tracking long distances as well because of that. All right, so taking a broader look at what's happening right now and then looking at the forecast. We've got a large red area and we've got multiple rounds of severe storms coming today. First I thought it might be 3. It actually might be as many as 4 or 5 rounds. At some point you stop counting rounds and you just say it's going to be stormy all day long here today with the ongoing threat for severe weather. 7 in Georgia, 6 in Tennessee and Kentucky, 5 in North Carolina and much of South Carolina on the Torcon, the Tornado Conditions Index. So that is going to be a huge threat across this area today. Make sure you have your plan. It is an all-day event where thunderstorms and supercells will develop and the risk that they will rotate and create tornadoes. So have your plan to get warnings and then know where you will go. Windy up into the northeast or to the Midwest too. So Chicago, get ready for strong gusty winds. There's actually going to be some big waves, we think, on Lake Michigan today and possibly some coastal flooding down on that south side of Lake Michigan by overnight tonight and tomorrow as those winds change direction. They come in from the north. Oh, just a cold, blustery day there. But this whole system, as it moves out by Friday, it takes all of the active weather with it. So improving weather comes for the weekend for the east. Bigger system coming into the west, actually, and snow levels dropping. So we could get some impact snow here. Drivers on I-80, you're not done with the snow chains yet this season. That could happen on Saturday that you need to worry about that with some bigger snow. Plus in the east, although it's going to be drier, it's still running a little below average. It's not until Sunday that everybody gets to warm up and temperatures go back above average. Now coming up, a narrow escape.